Hi, my name is Melanie Zook. I am a second year MBA candidate at SOM. And last year, I was both one of the leaders of the IF committee as well as a recipient of IF money for my summer internships. So first, as a committee leader, I was one of the people in charge of fundraising week and the auction, which are the two biggest donation generators for IF. And I wanted to be part of it because I think IF is one of the best parts of SOM. I think that when we think about SOM's mission of business and society, we want to make sure that we're actually putting our money where our mouth is and making sure that those people who do want to pursue lower paid or unpaid social impact positions have the financial ability to be able to do that. And so I was really excited about trying to figure out how we continue that tradition in a COVID year, which was very challenging, but also very rewarding. I was so grateful to get to see how engaged alumni and students were in giving back to the SOM community as well as their classmates in particular. Um, and then I was also a recipient of IF money. Don't worry, I was not the person who decided on recipients, so that was not a conflict of interest. But so I did two summer internships. I was at the Dallas Innovation Alliance, and I was also at Kansas City Digital Drive. And both of these internships were focused on digital equity and bridging the digital divide, which has been very important in the pandemic. It was a really exciting summer to be working on this because a lot of money from the federal government had gone through the pipeline and was being allocated to state and local municipalities in order to be funneled into expanding broadband access. So essentially, the nonprofits I worked for were focused on making sure that everyone in their communities, particularly low-income communities or elderly communities, had access to devices, access to internet, and the skills to be able to use both of those things. So I was involved in a project that helped build out some of those digital navigation skills in Dallas. And I was also involved in some interesting projects in Kansas City that were focused on getting some extra funding to people who couldn't afford internet, as well as an interesting one that was looking at how we expand, how we work with internet service providers and have some of that public-private sector partnership in order to expand access to low-income communities, particularly low-income housing. So these were incredible internships, really timely, exactly the kind of social impact I get really excited about. And so interesting to work on in the summer of 2021. And I mean, they honestly, both of these organizations did not have any money to pay for me this summer. And nor should they really. A lot of the money that they had was going toward the initiatives they were doing. So these were very small staffs with almost no overhead, like you see in a lot of small community-based organizations and nonprofits across the country. Um, so I genuinely would not have been able to do these internships without IF money, period. And I think that that's a position that a lot of us find ourselves in, of finding incredible mission-driven organizations that totally align with our values and are doing really interesting, really relevant work, but don't have the funding for an MBA intern. And IF makes it possible for us to still pursue those internships. So overall, I think, IF has really changed my experience at SOM, both as a committee leader and as a recipient of funding. I think IF continues to be one of the strongest parts of our community and something that it brings us together, alumni and current students across decades, right? Because IF has been around for so much of SOM's history. And I'm deeply invested in making sure that the tradition continues and that people continue being able to pursue their social impact passions, especially during their summer internships, because it defined my experience in the MBA, and I'm so unbelievably grateful. So thank you to everyone who supported us this past year, this upcoming year, and in all of the years up until now. It really means a lot.